Got a hankering for some Cold War action, so playing Armored Brigade, which is one of the more realistic uh, real-time strategy games out there. Um, I think ranking for realistic games, um, Combat Mission series is definitely at the top. I've found out about another one that is kind of in the same league as Combat Mission called the Close Combat. The Close Combat Mission, the Close Combat series. Um, Unfortunately, there's not really any reason for me to buy or download any of the Close Combat games because they all seem to be set World War II, Western Europe, 1944-45, which that time period has been covered to death. There's plenty of combat mission games covering that setting, so that need is met. Um, but in any case, I think it deserves to be slotted in as second most realistic after Combat Mission. This Armored Brigade here is probably third most realistic. Fourth most realistic is probably, I'm going to go with the Theater of War series. After Theater of War, probably Men of War. And all games associated with Men of War. And after that, maybe games like Wargame, European Escalation. And of course, there's probably plenty I either don't know about or have forgotten. But anyway, Armor Brigade. Cold War era combat, which I got a hankering for because Combat Mission Cold War has been announced, which will be give us some campaigns 1979 to 1982, and that'll be interesting. But that's a few months off. And this game being still pretty close behind Combat Mission in levels of realism. I mean, it's still pretty realistic, and already covering the Cold War era and already being out. Might give it a try. I think I want to do a campaign, and this is one of the campaign I downloaded off the Steam Workshop, Operation Red Thunderstorm. I can play as the Americans versus USSR versus the Soviets, or as the Soviets versus the Americans. Me being an American, I have a somewhat US-centric bias and would like to play, try to hold off the Red Hordes. It's set November 1973, so very much height of the Cold War. The later equipment that is still in modern use, like the Abrams, the Bradley, those aren't around yet. What we got are M60 tanks, M113s. This is pure Cold War era here. And the Soviet T-55s and T-62s that are just absolute cannon fodder today are still very much in their prime at this point. So this should be a fair amount of fun. Okay, so I need to select me some support assets. Obviously, I want artillery. Get any minefields. Oh, hang on. If I max out artillery, I don't have enough points left to get F4 Phantoms. Do I want F4 Phantoms? I have cluster bombs. Do definitely want artillery. All the other ground forces have been pre-selected for me, but if I was just randomly generating a mission, I would get to go through all these tabs here and grab things up. Okay, I'm maxing out on artillery. I'll get one battery of artillery, one battery of guns, and then go for air support. These things are pretty much just scouts. I want gunships. That has ATGMs. fair number of them. That's useful. This has a little bit more in terms of anti-personnel capability. You know, rockets, minigun. 4 Phantoms, some air-to-air capability, though they need to be on map at the same time as Soviet air support coming in, and well, air support tends to kind of just zoom through. The odds of catching any of their planes with my planes is rather unlikely. But cluster bombs, good for both anti-personnel and anti-armor. Or is that the... Okay, the difference between these two... They both have 20mm guns. This one has twice as much ammo for its 20mm guns. I'll get a pair of those. A pair of those. Do these. Let me organize this a little bit better, I think. Get 3 groups of those. 3 groups of these guys just loaded to the teeth with ATGMs, because that'll be useful. Do these. I still have plenty of points left for... Okay. That'll do as far as air support. In some ways, the helicopters are better because they linger on the battlefield. But the aircraft... Oh, yeah, what is this? Corsair. Got iron bombs. Keep my cluster bombs. Okay, let's get that started up. So, this campaign is located in the Fulda Gap in West Germany. So, oh, looks like we've been pushed west of Fulda already. So, obviously this isn't like day 1 of the war here. I have some N113 APCs. They have infantry on board. And unload. Yep, there's the infantry. Of course, maybe I want to advance them a little bit before I unload the infantry. Yeah, load back up. Will that toggle? No. How do I get them to load back up? I was just looking. Okay, so I can adjust spacing and formation. Closer spacing is probably going to be what I want to go for in this fairly close terrain. How close can I get the spacing? I can, of course, go for just really widely spread out. But we want them fairly close together, concentrate firepower a little bit more, and be able to support each other in this fairly close wooded terrain with low visibility. If I can find areas... Okay, so my objectives are up here. Yeah, at least one objective up here. Then ideally, I want to take up positions at the edge of tree lines, like, say, here, where I have pretty good visibility over an area that the enemy might want to advance. Maybe, say, at the edge of these roads. Ooh. Getting a tank or some sort of anti-tank gun facing just right down the road might be nice to have. Okay, that's an HQ unit. Okay, these are light infantry that are not currently loaded up into any vehicle. That's a whole infantry company. And unfortunately, I can't split them up into constituent platoons, which would make managing them much easier. Like, I could send one platoon here, another somewhere else. Well, in any case, I guess we are going to advance to roughly here-ish. You get to do something with the scouts. The scouts, I think I want a little bit more widely spaced to cover a larger area. No, no, no. That was the opposite of what I wanted. Increase spacing. And also unload infantry, because tight wooded terrain is no place for vehicles to be moving without infantry as their eyes and ears. It'd be nice if I had more scout elements to cover middle area. I don't have high enough density of scout elements here. But I guess general plan, advance the scouts till they make contact with the enemy, then retreat. Okay, so I have 60 tanks here. Nope, we got a mech infantry platoon here, mech infantry platoon here, mech infantry platoon here. Nope. Instead of what I wanted to do. Decrease spacing. Decrease spacing. Decrease spacing, because we're going to be fighting in very tight wooded terrain. Flamethrower vehicles. Okay. Maybe not something I want to be using in the woods, but good to have. 1-3 APs. Okay, that's the HQ section. For the essentially this mech infantry company here. And we have light infantry company, also decrease their spacing, and they aren't going to be able to cover a very tight frontage. Maybe put them on defense duty on this objective here. Oh, got another mech infantry platoon there. Another mech infantry platoon. Okay, so we got 3 mech infantry platoons up there forming a full company. 2 down here, so under strength company. We got mortars. We have stingers for shooting down enemy aircraft. We have M163s with miniguns, also good for shooting down enemy aircraft. Tow carriers, tow missiles, good for blowing up enemy tanks. And the flamethrower vehicles. So, I don't have enough troops to spread them in an even line across the whole map. And, still have enough density of firepower to fend off any enemy attack. So, I should probably have them move forward in clumps. Say, I guess I have maybe about 3 platoons worth of infantry, right? Or 3 companies worth of infantry. This one, and this under strength one here. So company infantry per objective, probably, should be the way I should do it. What am I going to do for the tanks? The light infantry company should, of course, be one of the ones I send deep into the woods, since, infantry will be a little bit better in the woods than vehicles would be. Whereas, one of the mech infantry companies might be better for defending the objective in the open. The extra firepower will help improve survivability in the open a bit. Let me get a little bit of cover here. Maybe could have them defend in front of the objective, but they have better line of sight. Much longer lines of sight if they are out in the open behind the objective. The rise in the terrain there. I need to be keeping an eye on just seeing what can be seen from a given position on the map. And you see, you can't see very far into the woods from within the woods, for the most part. It blocks off a lot of visibility. Okay, but have the light infantry company move forward and hold objective 3. One of the mech infantry companies, I think the weaker one, to hold objective 1. And I'm going to use the weaker one for that, because you don't need as much strength to defend as you need to attack. So the stronger one will be the one trying to penetrate a little deeper and take objective 2. Yeah, and I think they will generally advance in line. I will keep them mounted for the time being until they reach about this area here. In fact, actually, have the scouts advance here. And if the scouts make contact ahead of this company, then this company will dismount. They can move faster well mounted, and speed matters early on. But they are, of course, more vulnerable well mounted up. Not only because they don't have as good visibility, since all those infantry and all their eyeballs are cooped up in an armored box, but also, of course, if any of the vehicles get blown up, I lose an entire squad of infantry. Okay, they are going to advance straight for objective 3. They're going to advance straight for objective 2, and I'm thinking that platoon's going to hold just in front. That one's going to be cocked at a bit of an angle there. That one cocked at a bit of an angle there. This one, may get a few of them on top of the hill there. Oh, how do I want to do this? Good tree line there. Keep the infantry... Or, hang on, how much cover is that actually going to provide? Filament 30, cover 30, goes to a basic block. Okay, so that provides some cover. And can the M113s, they can see beyond there. I do need someone actually on the objective. They put these guys on top of the objective. Down the hill, maybe? That's a pretty vulnerable position. M60 HQ. what am I going to do with the tanks? They're all clumped into one company. If I could subdivide them into platoons, then I could have each platoon supporting one infantry company in their actions, although tanks might not do much good there in those tight woods there. Maybe keeping them all back here in reserve to fight enemy vehicles that come out into the open might be best. Each squad of infantry does have anti-tank weapons that they might be able to use to defeat any armored vehicles that come up through the woods. Okay, that's a preliminary plan. Oh, right, this platoon. I'll have them sit on the objective for a while and then maybe fall back to... Yeah, this area provides a fair amount of cover. So, have them try to shoot at anyone who tries to take this objective from over here. This hill here, that does provide... I mean, it's in front of the objective, so we might be able to deny access to the objective from there. But also, it's just sitting out in the open, really vulnerable, not a position I want to occupy. This area provides a little bit more cover. If I pick the right spot, they'll have line of sight on the objective and be able to shoot any enemies that try to occupy the objective. I won't be able to deny the objective to the enemy, but I might be able to kill enemies that go onto the objective and then retake it later. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay. And the plan's coming together. One of the things with these kind of... The more realistic the war game gets, the greater the sitting around in the deployment phase and planning, the longer the planning phase becomes, basically. But I'm sure you can skip ahead in the video, scroll along the progress bar to where you see some actual fighting if you want to skip me pondering about plans. But anyway, I know what I'm doing with my infantry companies now. So that leaves... I have some idea what I'm doing with these guys, though that's not finalized yet. Oh, and I have my HQ section. Probably battalion HQ for my infantry companies, we'll probably call them. So what to do with my other supporting assets? I have armored flamethrowers. I have tow missile carriers. I have anti-aircraft miniguns there. Shoulder-carried anti-aircraft missiles. And I have mortars. Mortars, I think, what's the range on these things? That is showing out to the largest range circle, because that's pitifully short if that is the largest one. There we go. Range out to 4,800 meters. So they can cover almost anywhere on the map, so we'll just keep them back here in a reasonably covered position behind the hill and some woods, and the enemy will... they'll have to fight their way to them to pose a threat to my mortars. And as for these guys, anti-air assets I do want spaced out, and it's not as... quite as spaced out as I would like, but I want them to be able to cover as large an area as possible, maximize the chances that any enemy aircraft that come through will find themselves under fire of some sort, and maybe that'll make them peel off before they do any real damage to any of my troops. Now... question then becomes exactly where to put them. Because if I put them too far forward, they'll be in danger of being destroyed by enemy ground troops. But if they're too far back, they may not see an opening to shoot at enemy aircraft before the aircraft have already done some damage to my ground troops. I think I will have them just kind of... The manpad section will follow kind of a little ways behind this central infantry company here. The M163 section, I think, will just sit back and provide defense in this general area. As for the tows and flamethrowers, I think I do want the flamethrowers advancing in the woods. I'm going to put them south with this light infantry company that doesn't have any armored support organic to it. The tow missile carriers, well, I really don't want to put them in the woods because, well, ATGMs really are at their strongest when they have long lines of sight, and you just don't have long lines of sight when you're in the woods. But there is pretty much nothing but woods on this map, except for this northwest corner here. So what to do with them? Oh, missile carriers. Where do I have reasonably long lines of sight that will hit an area that the enemy is likely to come through? I like this hill here. Maybe put them in cover right up there. Any enemy armor that crosses out of these tree lines on their way to Objective 1 will find themselves under ATGM fire. And hey, maybe from this position, if the enemy is coming through this way, they'll get some flank shots in. So... rotate. Oh, and I ended up giving orders to that one individual rather than to the whole section, which is why the section... There we go. And they've both rotated. Are they both in cover? No, but I think I can decrease their spacing, so there, now they can both fit into cover there. Which leaves the tanks. What am I gonna do with the tanks? I really wish I could break them down into their platoons, and then I would have... What I would do with them then, it was obvious. I'd have one platoon of tanks supporting each platoon of each company of infantry. But since I can't subdivide them into their platoons, they need to stay grouped together. I need to figure something to do with the whole group of them that's useful. I could say just put them along this hill here. It's decent lines of sight there. And again, wreck the crap out of any Soviet tanks that come through here to Objective 1, but that's kind of concentrating all my anti-tank firepower on protecting Objective 1, and none of it's being dedicated towards these other two objectives. So, is there something else I can do with them again? The hill there has decent lines of fire. You could cover Objective 3 and 2, depending on... They have a decent frontage there. What's the max frontage I can get them out to? Did I already increase their spacing? Okay, so they can actually cover a pretty decent chunk of battlefield. I have them occupy this central hill here. They could provide fire over a decent chunk of the battlefield there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with them. And the HQ section, I mean, that's a pair of perfectly good M60 tanks too, so, That's also an opportunity to provide some tank support on some other angle, though. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna put the HQ section right on top of that hill there. Get a little bit of firepower there. Make it a little bit easier to hold Objective 3. Now, the series of orders I'll have to give... hopefully that'll get them in approximately the position I want. I actually want them to... yeah, get you into a wedge formation. Maybe a bit of a shallower wedge than that, ideally. What I really want them to do is meet the contours of that hill, the angles of that hill. So part of them will be facing that way, and the other will be kind of angled that way, facing in that direction. Unfortunately, I don't have that much fine control. So hopefully that'll be good enough. I could advance them a little ways more if I have to. Anyway, I'll have you lot. Let's get you there. Mostly done with planning, and I'm finally giving orders. Giving some orders here. You flamethrowers stay just behind the objective. Can advance you later. Your first order will be to get onto the objective until it's considered captured, and then back off into this covered area here. You are already in position. You are in position. Okay, so you guys can advance there. You are going to advance there. These orders will obviously be countermanded at some point, since the scout section is expected to take contact before they reach Objective 2, and you can order that formation there to dismount as soon as the scout section makes contact. The scout section will advance ahead of the main body in the direction of Objective 2. And the scout section, I think, advance a little ways, provide a little extra early warning. Maybe I could put them in an ambush position on a road. Keep it simple. Advance. Okay. Oh, and I still have fire support to... Okay, target reference points. Let's put some in and around each of the objectives. And I still have a fourth target reference point I can place somewhere. Just plop it there, down there in the middle. I can't actually think of a better place for it at the moment. Maybe up there would have been good. Oh, wait, hang on. The target reference point allows me to call in artillery fairly quickly, even if there isn't an observer there, but I still need someone to be observing that patch of ground in order to know that there's enemies to have artillery called in on. Okay. There's no point putting a TRP up there because I won't be able to see the enemies there anyway. So I won't know that, hey, maybe I should bring a fire mission down on that spot. Air support. The gunships, I can give them positions to go to. Oh, I should take a look at which kind of gunship. Okay. We have the ATGM ones. Those are the UH-1Bs. Have nothing but ATGMs. I brought in a number of those because I am expecting a lot of Soviet tanks. But I should put them in positions where face that way. And alternate position, say over here, face that way. They each get an alternate position. You face that way, and alt position already over there. And you there. Alternatively, over here, maybe? Yeah. Okay. And kind of running out of spots that aren't taken by someone else already. I do want to kind of keep my my helicopters somewhat in the rear, because if they start taking small arms fire, they need to they'll run away. They'll get out of there. I kind of want them hovering over fairly high points, give them somewhat better observation. Yeah, just another pair right there, and go ahead and say another pair of them right there. And now, for the ones that pretty much only have anti-personnel, well, they have some anti-vehicle capability. Those 40mm rockets might be able to destroy an APC or an IFV. Probably not going to be enough against tanks, though. We'll have them kind of ready to protect each of the objectives. So we'll give this one a starting point right about there, and they'll have a fallback position while they'll run away over that way. And this one, I am going to have it start in a fairly aggressive position, and then it can fall back about here. And two start fairly aggressive, but run away over here once the enemy starts getting close to that place. And I think same general approach here, that way. And second pair of Cobras covering that area. Okay. That deployment will probably do fine. Let's get a fire mission just kind of ready to go. Not going to have it firing yet, but yeah, expect the enemy to take objective 2 before I reach it. And we can adjust that fire mission if I reach it first. And it's not going to fire automatically because I set it to fire at my command. So they'll fire if I see, oh, the enemy's taking that objective, I'll start blasting them. Okay, let's do this. And enemies have already been spotted. Oh, let's start Get everyone moving straight away to their initial positions. Maybe I shouldn't have given such aggressive initial deployments to some of those gunships. But clearly have some enemies spotted already, so I'm going to bring in some airstrikes. And yeah, just kind of an even pattern there. You know, maybe I shouldn't have brought in one there. My scouts there might get mistaken for an enemy. Oh, bugger. They have already... And, like I said, unload... Oh. Unload straight away. Actually, yeah, go ahead and advance a little ways, unload in the woods. That looks like a BRDM there destroyed. And another unload vehicle, probably another BRDM. We lost an M113 up there. That's enemy scout section, so no surprise that they're so far ahead of, I assume the main body is still back here somewhere. Incoming aircraft, one of mine, I hope? Okay, yeah. Got some gunships coming in. Maybe I could have deployed them a little bit more aggressively up here to start. I've lost enough gunships in the past that I may have been a little protective of their starting positions. Should probably deploy these guys into a wedge. Currently in line, which is fine if you have a contiguous defense that you're pretty sure the enemy can't get around. It'll provide the most firepower to the front, but if you have flanks that you can't fully secure, a wedge provides a little bit better flank protection. If I order them into wedge now, is that going to countermand? No, okay. They will continue moving towards the objective. Maybe a little harder to maintain your formation. Yeah, whatever. Oh! They're already seeing contacts that far ahead, then maybe I want to be bringing them back a little ways. Well, they're not under fire yet. Which one are they? Be one of the Cobras? Okay, they're that group. Don't order them back if they start taking any fire. We get some F4 Phantoms coming in for a bombing run. Hopefully they'll actually see some targets. Looks like they're not spotting anything. It's alright, I can bring them in back around later. At least they're not getting shot down. Oh, bombed something there. Oh, and they're getting shot at. Shot at, but not shot down. Both the Cobras are shooting at something there. Pattons are getting into position. Maybe advance just a little bit further beyond that. I want all of them over the crest of the hill. Okay, and they have taken that objective, but I still don't want them in that position. Much too vulnerable, so they're going to fall back that way. Oh, and I still need to order them to dismount their infantry. Okay, they have already dismounted their infantry now. Let's get everyone back online. So advance a little ways that way. Once you've dismounted your infantry, advance online there. Okay, they're forming kind of a wedge there. Oh, like they are retreating on their own. Oh, no, I don't want you to advance on your own. You're advancing ahead of the infantry. That's no good. Right. Pull back just a little ways. Okay, they're dismounting. Ah, I was waiting until... Till those infantry are out front for carrying out the orders. Oh, and we got enemy vehicles here already. Let's... which one's... Nope. Sport... That's a different group. Which group are you, dang it? Oh, okay, they... There, okay. Fall back. Move back to your fallback position there. You're a little close for comfort to the enemy. Well, that's the SPA section there. Once you actually get up there, you'll be able to provide some fire support there. You to advance just a little bit more. Get everyone over the edge of that hill. Can you actually see anything? You were looking that way. I don't want you getting shot at by enemy ground vehicles. Fall back a little ways. You guys only have short-range, shoulder-fired anti-tank weapons. Tracked vehicle of some sort. I'm best betting probably a scout vehicle if it's this far ahead already. Oh. Please advance. Where's the middle platoon? Oh. It is doing something here. I find shortest route. Focus and load. Okay, that's somewhat more. Okay, we took out whatever that was. Probably a BRDM. Little ways to the northeast. And another one of those. Too many more of those start showing up, then it may not just be scouts. Okay, they clearly... Section are you... One of the... Oh, yeah, let's try. Okay, you fall back there. Clearly you don't have enough line of sight over this hill. Okay, destroyed whatever that was. Looked like with heavy machine gun fire, so obviously it wasn't a tank. Probably the second pair of that scout section there. What I'm assuming is a scout section, so probably a BRDM. Action will start heating up in a bit. Oh, why are you going that way? That's not what I wanted you to do. Okay, I'm just gonna have to give orders to the individuals. Stop. I can give orders to individual vehicles. I just prefer to give orders to the formations wherever possible. That'll get them all more or less on top of the hill in positions with good line of sight. Done. Okay, again, gonna have to give orders to individuals in order to get more or less what I want out of them. I want the infantry in the covered terrain. And they'll carry out those orders eventually. Oh, yes, and let's give orders to you. What about... That'll get you about online with the rest of the company. And then from there, we'll advance towards the objective. Really advance at a crawl with infantry dismounted. But if we make contact this far forward, in close wooded terrain, I can hardly afford to have vehicles advancing without infantry dismounted in front of them. Yeah. Probably drove out that scout section, maybe could have afforded to push them a little bit further forward mounted. Down to just one scout team and one APC there. Maybe I could advance them a little further forward. The helicopters that are up here, didn't I give them secondary positions that are down there? Yeah. Put you over there for the time being. Maybe someone with a little bit more anti-personnel ability. No, not you. Fine there for the time being. I've just done. Yeah, keep you there for the time being. Any of you Cobras? I don't think that's Cobra. Have I lost Cobra? Or did he just have the good sense to retreat? If I'd lost a gunship, I think... oh, some dead Soviets on the road there. If I'd lost a gunship, I feel like I would see a wreck somewhere. So I think he took some fire and flew away. Which is good. I'd rather my units retreat than that they get destroyed. C Company. I think that says C colon Infantry Company. Is getting close to Objective 3. Nope. Enemy forces spotted down there. Well, bugger. out there. That was a BTR. So, that is enemy main force, it looks like. Meaning, possibly... I think I'll have these two platoons continue to advance. But I think I want a platoon with infantry and vehicle and APCs. There's some infantry support covering the tanks. Where are you going and why? Are you heading forward to previous position? Good work, guys. Took out an enemy BTR. Hopefully it was full of a squad of infantry at the time. Okay, they've moved back up to their forward position on their own initiative. I am going to... Oh, I guess they decided to bug out there. Continuing to fire on enemies that are inside their circle. So really think they should... Never tell which section is which. There we go. Yeah. Officially giving you orders to withdraw. Ooh, tank destroyed something there. They're already moving. So what did we destroy there? Unknown vehicle. Oh crap. Okay, another BRDM. Yeah, I might have misidentified... Yeah, I think that's a BRDM too. As well. It might be a BRDM too. Obviously, the Soviet scout forces are mounted up in BRDMs. Question is, what kind of main force am I going to be looking at? 1973, so I'm expecting their armored forces are probably T-62s. There might be T-64s, but those are like the elite, so... Question is, are the accompanying infantry mounted in BMPs or BTRs? I guess we'll be finding out soon enough. Most units would be equipped with BTRs. The infantry regiment of the tank division will be mounted on BMPs. Excellent. We have Objective 3. And interestingly, the enemy does not yet have Objective 2. So close to their lines that I would have thought they'd have gotten it by now. Okay, that's main force there. BTR 50. Okay, I think it's time to have the scout section withdraw. Right, there was such a thing as BTR 50. Open-topped, kind of similar to a World War II half-track. Oh bugger, I just lost M113 there. Don't normally think about them because they're not something you'd expect to encounter in the 80s or modern era, but yeah, 1970s, particularly early 70s. I suppose a lot of them would still have been mounted in BTR 50s. I was expecting like BTR 60 or something. Much more classic modern APC, closed top, full armor coverage for the infantry being carried. Where's the BTR 50 post? Okay, there's Soviet infantry there. Come on, everyone get out of there. You've made contact, you've done your job. This company still has a little ways to go before it's actually in position. Can I order them to move a little bit faster? Movement speed without ruining the current order. Okay, lost that scout team there. What do we got here? I think they're just equipped with 2 assault rifles. Yep. 2 assault rifles and hand grenades. Need them. Okay, I have a few things that can more reliably destroy enemy armor once they get close. And of course all these infantry sections do have shoulder-fired anti-armor weapons, M72 laws, which will struggle against Soviet tanks, but will be more than up to the task at destroying Soviet APCs, BTRs. especially in close wooded terrain, where they're sure to be able to get close enough. Unidentified enemy vehicle there, almost certainly BTR-50. This platoon is moving to position to screen these tanks here. I might even consider having them screen a little farther forward, like say the other side of this river. They'd have a harder time retreating though if they were on the other side of the river. And from this position they might have a longer line of sight, longer field to fire there. Yeah. This would be a decidedly inferior position to this one here. Okay. So, this platoon here is kind of where I want it to be, just waiting on these ones. I'm gonna have to shift them south a little bit since I've peeled off one platoon from that company to serve as tank babysitters. I don't want my tanks to have no infantry support at all. Nope, and we've got been going on here. Get some choppers. Find the two that oh right, I was gonna bring in more phantoms. Okay, let's get another round of air support coming in. And let's get the gunships that are supposed to be over there. What kind of gunships are those? Those ones. Not those ones. Those ones. And oh, we've got a lot of Soviet infantry coming in. This is their main force here. And I need to other there. Fall back over there. And they're in the city. That's not good. Ooh, nice work. These guys aren't able to do as much as I would have liked. Oh. These are the AA vehicles that are supposed to be there to deal with enemy aircraft. Tow carriers have a shot at guys. Are my choppers on the way? Yes, they are. Moving perilously close to enemy vehicles here. But they'll be in position soon enough. And oh dear, I've lost an M113. And another one there. And an entire squad of infantry. Can I redeploy these guys? Probably a little bit more protection in the north there. Yeah. Oh, and fighting is getting pretty fierce over here too. That was expected. I was kind of hoping my infantry would finish getting into position. close up the spacing and get into the woods. Work. Okay. Like, even though we're not sitting on the objective, we were able to deny the objective. Oh, I have artillery. Why am I not using my artillery? Let's... yes, set that mission there. It's going to be 2 minutes before it's ready to fire. Maybe I should have set it a little bit further north. Maybe it's too late to move them up there. Advance there. Okay. You maybe should fall back that way. Nope. And enemy aircraft there. That. Su-17s. Well, that's not good. Taking 4 casualties there. 30 seconds until the artillery is ready. Really should have increased the number of rounds available. Target there. Okay, my infantry are falling back under fire. Not getting pressed as hard. You're encountering enemy forces over here. Not being pushed as hard in the center. Of course, we aren't anywhere near an objective in the center at the moment. Okay. New plan. You advance that way. Adopt a wedge formation. You advance that way. Provide assistance there. Wedge formation. We are abandoning the advance in Objective 2. You should fall back. We are still dealing out more punishment to them than we are taking ourselves. There we go, T-64. And as predicted, my infantry are having trouble managing to destroy them. Okay, these guys have a flank shot. The side armor should be thin enough. M72 isn't powerful enough to get through the frontal armor of the T-64, but it should be able to pen the side armor. I may just need to fall back. Begin falling back. Or, actually... Oh, yeah, good work. Good work. I think the attack is tapering off here. supposed to be part of this platoon here? Have you been detached? Oh, the fire missions are ready. And no point in firing fire mission 1, since only one round was dedicated to it. And we need a fire mission 2 a little further to the south. I've lost 2 APCs there. And 2 entire squads of infantry. I have lost all of my armored vehicles up here, it looks like. Yeah. Still have air support. Still have 8 GMs up here. All of my tanks are packed into the center. Like there's been a pretty rough fight over here. Destroyed a lot of BTRs. And there's an enemy force trying to move through the center here. I think we're getting things under control in the north. We need you. Take up position in the center. Okay. Tanks are gonna... The infantry managed to destroy that BTR. If you're not going to rejoin your platoon, at least get to a somewhat better covered position. And oh, you're immobilized. Okay, that's not great. Can you at least... Yeah. Keep your gun pointed in a useful direction. That's showing up as 3 enemy sprites there, because we can't actually determine the exact number of troops there. So, 3 sprites there just means there's multiple troops. More than one of them. Okay, another 264. Do these tanks not... like they should be able to... Oh, but they are focusing up north on lesser threats. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Any of you that can get out of there, get out of there. You're being overrun. Okay, we got some dead Soviet soldiers mixed in with the dead American soldiers now. Or wounded. I don't think this game actually breaks down casualties by killed and wounded, so a significant portion of these guys are probably just wounded. Yeah, just about destroyed that Soviet infantry squad there. And, yeah, let's go ahead and, fire that one more time. We have plenty of ammunition. Then I'll probably want to set a new target. I should be making greater use of my artillery. might tighten up the area of effect. Okay, once that one is done firing, I'm going to set it for a new target position. I think right on top of this objective here. If these guys can get out. I don't want to target artillery right on top of my own men. The open machine gun is firing at me. Okay, this company has gotten torn up. There is almost nothing left. And I have given them general orders to retreat. Ooh, yes. Don't retreat along the main road, though, because that is swarming with Russians. Am I going to get him across the river? Hope he finds a way. They find a way. One surviving squad in that whole company. Possible I am not the best commander. Or, you know, the Soviets are a full peer level opponent at this point, so... Okay, I no longer hold any of the objectives. But I still fully intend to hold my ground for as long as I can. Okay. And let's set a new target right on top of Objective 3. It's 2 minutes before the rounds start falling. Hopefully by then this squad can get out of there. They are under lots of fire. There's clearly more than one enemy squad in the area. If I were to fire this mission while my squad is still in the area... Well, I guess that's a moot point now anyway. Kinda wish I'd withdrawn them sooner. Things are getting pretty heavy over here. Advance to contact. Try to link up with the other platoon, form a somewhat more continuous defense. Well, we got wrecked pretty hard here, but looks like we did manage to hold, if at the cost of all our vehicles. And go ahead and advance back up to the tree line. There we go. Booyah. Gotta love that M60. Oh, and they are just... They are all kinds of screwed. Yep, fire mission is ready to be called in. I maybe could have brought along a little bit more artillery. I tend not to use it as well as the air support. Okay, and we are down to one Phantom. I'll send him right on Objective 2. Or one group of Phantoms. Doesn't look like any of them have been shot down. there would be wreckage. It's relative victory conditions there. So it looks like, despite the ground I've lost and the troops I've lost, I am still winning. Heavy as my casualties have been, their casualties are heavier. Like even in this sector here. I lost an entire company, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4... probably a full company's worth of BTRs destroyed, and at least one enemy tank destroyed. Oh, I didn't... Yeah, I had the flamethrower section here that I didn't withdraw. That's a shame. But I think, is it 1 or maybe 2 T-64s I managed to destroy in that section there? So I think we gave about as good as we got here. Oh, there's no infantry support in the south, though, now. That's a problem. And I suspect... I have plenty of ammo left. There's probably still enemies in the area, so one more fire mission. I really ought to be far more prolific with my artillery. And we have kind of wrecked them there. I mean, yeah, they really battered these two platoons here, but it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 vehicles they've lost so far. 14, 15. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squads of infantry. By comparison, I lost a squad of infantry there. I lost 4 APCs up here. Plus 5, 6 APCs and 2, 3 squads of infantry. Okay, the F4s are here. Ready to hopefully deal some damage to the enemy. Yep, they dropped some cluster bombs there. Must have seen some enemy troops there to bomb. Okay, and we got enemy coming up through this way. No spotter, but only takes 2 minutes to call in on account of inside the target reference areas. Within range of a target reference point. Makes sense that the exchange was fairly even here, and lopsided in my favor here. In this area, we're fighting in pretty close terrain. I didn't really have either a cover or observation advantage over the enemy, so the terrain kind of dictated a pretty even fight here. Up here, I had my guys in pretty good, well, better than nothing cover with some concealment. Both platoons were benefiting from some cover and concealment, with the enemy advancing across pretty much completely open terrain. So terrain dictated a somewhat lopsided exchange in my favor. Especially if they're going to keep coming at me piecemeal like this, and I can concentrate all my guns on one vehicle at a time. Things were looking pretty touch and go when there was a whole mass of them coming at me. I really should have withdrawn my troops from this area sooner. Raid them on this hill here, maybe. Provide a little bit of infantry support to my tanks and helicopters. At least I do kind of have some mixed forces here. It's not just tanks by themselves with no support of any kind. It's tanks with helicopter support. Oh, good. There we go. Got down Rusky helicopter there. Pretty heavily armed one, too. That's no Hind, though. Things are slowing down. I might permit myself some time compression. I normally try to avoid time compression. There are risks. Yeah, okay. We're gonna do this. We are going to advance on objective 2 and attempt to retake it. I'm going to have one infantry section get a toehold in objective 1, reclaim that. I have no infantry to advance towards objective 3, and I dare not send tanks alone in densely wooded country, so we're just going to give up on objective 3. I suppose I could peel off. I could send this mech infantry platoon towards objective 3. Then I'd have no infantry at all covering these tanks. Oh, wait, hang on. They're taking fire, taking fire. Switch back to a defensive mindset, and advance that way, rotate that way. And we'll get time compression on until MI4 57mm rocket pods. Huh, is their attack run out of steam? Possible. the infantry in front of you. And we've made contact. Let's adjust the fire mission up that way. Theoretically, my tank should be able to see into that area, but woods do have pretty good concealment. I think I'm just going to have to clear it out. I'll get some artillery going in a minute and a half and send my troops in to clear it out. Not really any details on the briefing. Nope, we get enemy forces pushing through this way. Finally, it looks like. And I just lost an APC. That's not good. Ooh, maybe don't sit in the open on that road there. And cover. And we've encountered enemy infantry. Entire platoon against one squad. Entire mech platoon against one squad. So we have an overwhelming firepower advantage there. And they are rightly trying to get out of there, but weren't able to in time. Something going on up there. Oh, and more enemy troops. It looks like pushing through in force up north. And they're done firing. And I want you go ahead and advance to the edge of the danger zone. Online. My armored vehicle. And none of my tanks gonna spot it. Apparently not. Okay, looks like that shot missed. If an M72 shot hits the vehicle but doesn't kill it, then we'll know it's a tank and not just an APC. Or, you know, if it gets close enough for us to actually identify it. Yeah, go ahead and advance. That's the best place to be retreating to. Okay, we know it's a tracked vehicle of some sort. There's another one. They're hitting me in force in the north again. T-64s. Oh, T-55s. Huh. weird to have a mixed unit. So the earlier tanks we identified were definitely T-64s. Wheeled vehicle, probably BTR. Okay. New T-55 destroyed. So if we're seeing multiple types of tanks, that means we're facing multiple units. Because any one unit would be uniformly equipped with one kind of tank. Either T-64s, or T-62s, or T-55s. Okay, let's... Just gonna... They already fired their mission. So set a new target up back up north here. Might set a new, smaller target area. These guys are getting most of their work in for anti-ground work. Eh. Okay. Looks like we're getting annihilated here. I'm not entirely sure what to do when I do get annihilated up there. Move some tanks up there, but, continue advancing if you don't mind. Or actually, no. They are annihilating my forces in the north. I need to abandon offensive operations towards the center and reinforce the north. Possibly need to reinforce the south as well. If we could fall back to some kind of cover, that would be great. More tanks coming up here. I don't think there's actually anyone there. Just extrapolating where they would be if they continued moving in the direction that we last saw them moving. Ooh, that's, looks like a pretty deadly vehicle that looks like my infantry squad was able to take out. But my infantry squad appears to now have been took out, so... Oh yeah, they're bringing down the weight of numbers on me. They're breaking through in the north. And I don't have much left to hold them with. No way these guys are going to show up in time. Another Su-17. Opportunity for you guys to get to work. You know, if you get a shot. Come on. Really? Let me down, man. You just let him... Are you out of ammo? You might be out of ammo. Yeah. How would I be able to tell? Okay, yeah, you're out of ammo. that's a problem. Retreat that away. Okay, my tanks are getting into a position where they can kind of provide some fire support here. I'm gonna have to give up giving orders to Venom's formations. Oh dear. There's infantry in the woods. That's a very dangerous position for my tanks to be in right now. Yeah, we know there's infantry in the woods, so... some flank shots on the enemy almost seems worth it, but... you... advance where there are our own infantry to provide some support. If enemy infantry in the woods, our tanks just do not have enough visibility to know if infantry are going to sneak up on them and get an RPG hit on the side. Without infantry of my own to escort them, there's just no way of protecting against that. I need to pull my own infantry back in. I have another 2 full platoons of infantry. Just need to get them back to a position where they can help out. I had been committed to this attack on Objective 2. And it's taken me too long to give up on that. This area is not adequately covered. Do you have any infantry that you could unload? Gunships are providing some support there. Well, that got destroyed by heavy machine gun fire, obviously an APC. Oh, yes, and those helicopters need to skedaddle. Su-17s. Hang on. Well, I've just lost a helicopter. Yeah, okay. Fall back. Don't want to lose any more Cobra gunships. Okay, dedicated attack seems to be coming in the center. I think I need you to be making... treat this as a fighting withdrawal. There could be enemies behind you. And... oh, yeah. No, you need to be prepared for all-round defense. Yes, I might have screwed up there. Down a tank there, and there. We've almost been annihilated up here, but we're making it very painful for the enemy, at least. Oh, go ahead and fire that, even though there's probably no one left there anymore. Maybe I could shift it a little to the left. Slowing down. Oh. Enemy T-64s. Rotate. Oh, T-60. That's a T-55. The power scaling is... Oh, that's an MR-24. Let's see. You guys aren't currently anywhere useful. Yeah, that's a hind. There are still plenty of enemies in this area here. Oh. Damage. Okay, nope. Get back, get back. Oh, he's gonna wipe out all my APCs. Do manage to survive. Move around that way and flank him. That's a lot of enemies over there, isn't there? Huh. Okay, no. Thought for a moment, oh, he's not shooting. He must not have spotted them, but no. Okay, we're screwed. Get out of there. Run! I've gone and gotten that platoon cut off. Okay, that's 2 APCs in less than a minute. That squad is wiped out. I was about to say almost wiped out. Oh, did they just, like, surrender or something? Okay, I'm not gonna risk moving you at all. And you just kind of hold your position in the woods. Hunker down, try not to die. Some enemy vehicles have come around that way. Yeah, he's managed to retreat. That's something. They must run out of ammo, or... Okay. Looks like they're withdrawing. Hey, oh, cancel. I didn't mean it. Stop. Ooh. Yeah, rockets managed to damage it. Okay. Well, that could have gone worse. Considered a draw. I lost 189 troops with plus 114 routed. 21 vehicles plus 1 routed. The Soviets, having deployed a little bit more than twice as many troops as me, not quite 3 times as many, lost 215 with plus 33 routed. So a little bit more, few more personnel than I lost. But they lost 3 times as many vehicles, 66 lost. And we both lost a chopper each. I didn't make use of my mortars. Ugh. That's my B. Anyway, I'm terrible at modern combat, but apparently still marginally better than the AI. So yeah,